The lights dimmed, the arena grew silent, and a familiar aura of darkness began to sweep across the SmackDown stage. A black mist crept through the entrance ramp as Aleister Black emerged from the shadows, dressed in his signature black trench coat, eyes burning with quiet fury. Behind him, Zelina Vega followed, confident, calculating, and coldly composed. The duo, known for their unrelenting precision and psychological warfare, had returned with a message, one directed straight at Damian Priest. For weeks, tension had been brewing between Black and Priest. It began when Priest interfered in one of Black's matches, costing him an opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship. Since then, their paths had collided backstage, in promos, and in dark corners of the arena. But tonight, Aleister and Zelina were done with warnings, they came to make a statement. The crowd buzzed as the eerie sound of church bells echoed through the arena. Black stepped into the ring with slow, deliberate movements, his presence commanding silence. Zelina stood beside him, microphone in hand, smirking at the sea of uneasy fans. The flickering lights made their figures look almost demonic. She began first, her voice soft yet venomous. Zelina reminded the world that Damian Priest had crossed a line that should never have been touched. She painted him as a man blinded by pride, someone who mistook chaos for control. Her tone dripped with menace as she described how Priest's arrogance had brought him to this point, standing at the edge of the darkness that Aleister ruled. As Zelina spoke, Black paced behind her, his movements slow, methodical, and unsettling. The audience could feel the tension rising. She turned toward him, nodding, and handed him the microphone. The arena lights flickered again, and the sound of thunder rolled through the speakers. Aleister's voice broke the silence, low, calm, but filled with a chilling conviction. He didn't raise his tone. He didn't need to. Every word cut through the air like a blade. He spoke of balance, of light and shadow, of punishment for those who defied the natural order. To him, Damian Priest was a man pretending to be darkness while standing in the glow of false confidence. Black said Priest didn't understand what true darkness was. He called him a counterfeit, someone who borrowed the imagery of evil but lacked the soul for it. He said that Priest had not faced torment yet, but soon he would. And when that time came, he wouldn't just lose a match, he would lose his very essence. Zelina watched him with pride, nodding as the crowd remained eerily quiet. The camera zoomed in on her expression, half admiration, half malice. She then promised that Priest would not walk away from what was coming. "You thought you understood pain," she said, her voice steady, "but pain hasn't met Aleister Black yet." The audience erupted in murmurs as the lights suddenly cut out completely. For a moment, the arena was pitch black. Then, on the Titantron, flickering footage appeared, security cameras showing glimpses of Damian Priest arriving at the arena earlier in the night. As he walked through the hallway, unseen shadows seemed to follow him. Objects fell behind him, lights flickered, and a faint whisper echoed through the speakers, Aleister's voice saying, "I warned you." When the lights returned to the ring, Aleister and Zelina were gone. Only a single black candle burned in the center of the ring, its flame flickering as smoke rose toward the rafters. The symbolism was unmistakable, Priest had been marked. Later that night, WWE cameras caught Damian Priest watching the footage backstage. His jaw was clenched, and his eyes burned with anger. He muttered that if Aleister wanted war, he'd get one. Priest was known for his own aura of darkness and pride, but for the first time in a long while, there was a flicker of uncertainty in his expression. He understood that Aleister Black wasn't another rival. He was something deeper, something far more dangerous. As the show continued, eerie signs of Aleister's presence kept appearing throughout the night. Priest's locker room door had been marked with a black insignia, an intricate symbol resembling a serpent wrapped around a cross. No one claimed responsibility, but everyone knew who it came from. Zelina Vega was seen in the hallway hours later, calmly adjusting her gloves, smiling as she passed a nervous production assistant. When asked about it, she simply said, "He's already inside Priest's mind." Social media exploded instantly. Fans began dissecting the footage, the candle, the symbol, speculating whether Aleister and Zelina were summoning something deeper than a wrestling feud. Some called it psychological warfare, others believed Black was reviving his old NXT-era mysticism, blurring the lines between the supernatural and reality. As SmackDown neared its end, the cameras caught one final shot, Damian Priest entering the ring alone, demanding that Aleister face him. But instead of Aleister, the lights dimmed again. A shadowy figure appeared behind him, moving silently. Priest turned too late, Aleister struck with a vicious black mass, sending Priest collapsing to the mat. The lights flickered again, and when they came back on, Aleister was gone. Only Zelina remained at ringside, staring at Priest's fallen body. She leaned down, whispered something inaudible, then smiled before walking away. The message was clear, the hunt had begun. The next week SmackDown opened with the aftermath of the attack. Damian Priest, bruised but defiant, vowed revenge. But his anger was met with more mind games. Mysterious vignettes played throughout the night, showing candles, serpents, and cryptic messages from Aleister. Zelina's voice echoed through the arena, saying, "Damian, every shadow you step into belongs to him now." It wasn't just about competition anymore. It was about dominance of will. About who controlled the darkness itself. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega had drawn the line, and Damian Priest had stepped across it. Their rivalry was no longer a storyline. It was a psychological war. And as the weeks went on, the audience knew there would be no peace, only escalation. Every flicker of light in the arena felt like a warning. Every entrance cue from Priest was met with whispers from the crowd, wondering if Aleister would strike again. WWE had seen rivalries fueled by pride, betrayal, and ambition. But this? This was something different. This was personal, spiritual, and venomous. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega weren't just sending threats, they were delivering a prophecy. One that promised Damian Priest's inevitable downfall under the weight of true darkness. And as SmackDown faded to black, the echo of Aleister's words from the week before replayed across the Titantron. "The devil you think you are, is nothing compared to the demon I've become."